Hey friend, let me ask you something. Have you ever encountered someone who's so exceptional at what they do that it seems effortless? I know you have, you just may not have noticed. Like the line cook that sings while he works. He makes sure the fries are always perfectly crispy. He always gets your order right, keeps the line moving. Or maybe it's the person at the pharmacy counter who greets you with a smile, always remembers your name, makes you feel seen. These individuals have a unique gift, and yet their contributions are often overlooked. Why is that, do you think? The truth is, every gift deserves its recognition, regardless of what the role is. Think about people who make a difference in your day, every day, but whose work often goes unnoticed. Like the person who keeps things running behind the scenes, or the one that brings warmth and humanity to a mundane interaction, or the one that delivers a job with precision, no matter how simple it seems, like the perfect, fast, and efficient oil change. These people are really good at what they do. Not just competent, but genuinely gifted. They make our lives easier, and they do things that we don't want to do or don't have time to do for ourselves. And yet, so often, their contributions are underappreciated and sometimes even disrespected. I've thought a lot about this recently, especially after reading a comment from one of my readers. She said, "I wish that what I wanted to do from my heart paid enough." That struck me because it echoes a reality so many of us face. There are so many people out there doing work that they love, maybe they're even passionate about, they excel in it, they're grateful for, but they're not paid what they deserve for it. I've experienced this too recently, like when I was doing spark driving a few months ago as a side hustle. At first the money was decent and I was able to make about $30 an hour before paying for gas. But over time the rates dropped and people stopped tipping. It's like people got used to having the service and they started becoming entitled to it. People don't value these delivery workers, even though they're doing your grocery shopping, bringing the groceries to your house, sometimes 10 to 20 miles away. They're making sure your bread doesn't get squished. They're using their own car, their own gas, their own time. And Walmart pays $7 to $11 for most of these trips. What makes people feel so entitled to this service that they can be so disrespectful to not even leave a tip? What happened to gratitude for people doing things for us? I'm not saying these things to complain, but to point out something bigger that we all experience. The disconnect between the value of our work and how society rewards it. I learned this over time, not just from my own experiences, but also from watching my adult kids struggling with low pay and rising expenses. So why does society often overlook essential jobs that require skill and dedication? I believe that part of it comes down to our cultural obsession with formal education. Society tends to value a 4-year degree from a university over hands-on learning, even though many people graduate and end up with tons of debt and no job in their field. There's a disconnect between education and real-world skill, and it creates a system that undervalues the practical yet very crucial work of so many people. And it's not just spark drivers or nurses. Think about teachers who have some of the most difficult and important jobs but are paid a fraction of what they deserve. Public works employees, law enforcement, maintenance workers, these are all professions that require immense skill and dedication, but they are often severely underpaid. Yet politicians and corporate executives who do less direct, community-oriented work make far more money. It's clear where society places its priorities. So what does success look like for you? For me, it's a peaceful life, surrounded by family and friends, with access to good, healthy food, an old paid-off car that gets me where I want to go. It's about the freedom to do what I want the majority of the time without constant stress or worry. True success isn't about a big house, the latest gadgets, or expensive trips. It's about peace. I say that a lot. Living without constant pressure or financial strain or conflict. As someone who grew up in lack, not having to think about how to keep the lights on or put food on the table is bliss. All the people who do the essential work, whether it's teaching your children, helping women give birth, or simply sitting with the elderly people while their families are away, delivering your groceries, cleaning up your houses, essentially making life easier for all of us. They all deserve to have peace in their lives. No one who pours their heart into their work should be working 3 jobs just to make ends meet. They should not be wondering where the rent money will come from next month. This world needs to shift its values. The way we define success needs to change. Now imagine if people could pursue their gifts and passions freely without worrying about financial instability. How would that change everything? For starters, I believe the world would be a much happier place. So many people are stuck in jobs that they hate, that they have to do just to survive. And that unhappiness doesn't just stay at work, it spreads. It affects how we interact with each other. Unhappy people, unfortunately, take their frustrations out on the whole world. But when people can make a decent living doing what they love, whether it's cooking, teaching, or helping others, they become more engaged, more joyful, more fulfilled, and that positivity spills over into every interaction that they have. Imagine a world where we fully appreciated and celebrated every role, no matter how small it seemed. A world where we recognize that the work people do, whether it's the fast food worker, the healthcare professional, the cleaning lady, it's all valuable. When we appreciate each other's contributions, we foster a culture of kindness, mutual respect, and understanding. And I think that kind of world would be full of happy people. People who are good to each other. I mean, isn't that what we all want? The system we live in today often keeps us divided. It pits us against one another. It creates class barriers, and it tells us that some jobs are more important than others. I mean, that is true to an extent, but they all are important. The truth is we're all in this together, and recognizing the value in what each person brings to the table can help break down those barriers. We all probably know what burnout feels like by now. I've been there, where the job takes everything out of you, leaving you with no energy for anything else. It's a terrible feeling, and it keeps you stuck in a cycle of just getting through each day with no room for personal pursuits, for growth, or joy. When people are burned out, they can't pursue their passions. They can't build their dreams or work on the things that would bring them joy and fulfillment. Burnout saps the passion and the drive and the energy needed to live a meaningful life. So, if you're stuck in a job that doesn't reflect your true passion, what should you do? I'm not an expert, but here are my suggestions just based on my experience. First, you need to take stock in your financial situation. I use spreadsheets, but there are tons of tools online. You need to get out of debt. I recommend Dave Ramsey's Debt Snowball to help. No matter what you think of Dave Ramsey, the debt snowball is a valuable tool. Stop digging yourself in deeper. Don't buy the new car. Just keep the old paid off one. Stop eating out so much. Start shopping secondhand. You may decide not to have kids or not to have another one. Or if you already have kids, you might have to be okay with raising them differently than everybody else does theirs. Recognize where others are putting pressure on you to spend money. You need to put up boundaries and stop buying into the pressure to keep up with other people. And most importantly, don't lose sight of the bigger picture. Even if your job doesn't reflect your passion, there are ways to channel your energy into things that do, whether that's through a side business, a creative project, or a hobby. Just make sure it's something that you feel passionate about. Chase fulfillment, not dollars. So, what can we do as a society to start valuing all types of work more fairly? I think it starts with changing our mindset. We need to stop focusing on job titles and paychecks and start focusing on the talent, passion, and contributions that people bring to the world. But that's a bigger conversation, one that requires a shift in values on a societal level, and I'm not getting into that. But as individuals, we can take steps to find more fulfillment in our work, regardless of how it's viewed by society. It's not always easy, but one of the most important shifts is cultivating gratitude. By focusing on what you can be grateful for in your work, you can start to change your perspective. Another key shift is adopting a mindset of service. Putting good energy out into the world, no matter what your role is. Even if you're not always appreciated or recognized for your efforts, know that your work is making someone else's life better, no matter how small the impact. And if you're like I was, working in a corporate role, and you can't imagine any way that you're doing anything good for mankind, then you'll need to find a way out and into something that you can feel good about. Imagine if we lived in a world where we all respected and appreciated each other's unique gifts that every person brings, no matter their role. Wouldn't that be a world worth creating? I don't expect to change the world with my videos, but my hope is that I can help just a few people see things a little differently. And maybe, just maybe, that shift will spark a ripple effect that makes the world a better place. That, to me, is my small contribution. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this in the comments. Thank you so much for being here, watching the video to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.